I'm over here at the local Asian grocery store gathering some ingredients to make a homemade pho. Now the secret to making the best pho is not just MSG, but fresh oxtail. I just got a bunch. Stay tuned, guys. First thing you do when you get home is to organize your ingredients. And so you've got your meats in one section, your noodles in the other, your fresh veggies in one.
It's kind of like show and tell, like, oh, look what I got at the store.
So for the toppings, I'll put this in the fridge. This is I'm going to slice right now, this save for later, and then these I'm going to let cool to room temperature before I cook it all. One of my favorite toppings in a pho is a nice pickled onion. And so to make the pickled onion, just some vinegar, some sugar, and then let the onions soak in the vinegar for a few hours while the pho is being made. It's gonna be on camera. Another element that is vital to a delicious, unique pho are the proper herbs and spices. And so I've been fortunate enough to have my mom live in Vietnam, where pho is from. And she got me a spice bag with all the spices that I need, star anise, all that stuff, put into a tea bag so I can tea bag this thing. And so plenty of other unique ingredients that I think are big must-haves to make a very authentic bowl of pho. So when it comes to pho, of course there's northern pho, southern style pho. We're going to do more of a southern style where you see your typical ingredients like here in Orange County with bean sprouts and basil and whatnot. But toppings are excuse me. Toppings are a good choice too. So you can go with your standard like thinly sliced filet mignon, like here that I'm letting sit to room temperature right before I cook it. I'm gonna cook it in the hot broth right before I serve it. But I like it a little funky too, and so I'm using beef flank over here, which is a pretty cool like fatty, chewy type of piece of meat. I've got some beef bones to help develop the broth, and then my other important element, which makes the authentic broth, is instead of just beef bones, I use oxtail. This stuff is the key. There's so much saturated fat there, and it really makes the flavors develop outside of all the other billion key factors I've been talking about in this video. So I'm just gonna prep these and get them ready for the broth. The easy way would be just to throw everything in the pot and boil water, but it doesn't develop the same type of flavors as if you take the onion and the oxtail and brown it first before you put it in. It just gives it that extra layer of kind of smoky taste in that pho broth. So you can choose what you want to do, but I'm gonna brown mine first. Once the meat is nice and brown, as long as the onions, go ahead and start putting all the rest of the meat and the bones inside the broth, and now let's start constructing the broth. Now, instead of just pouring in cold water and then making it take longer, I actually use this kettle, little hack, and do 4 quarts worth. And so I boil the water, pour it in here, and then put it on a simmer to get it going. So, let's rock. Once you have all the ingredients put together, go ahead and get it to a boil. Once it's to a boil, bring it to a simmer. Let it sit for about minimum 5 hours, and we are ready to construct our bowl of pho. See you guys in 5 hours. Made it back home. Let's see how this broth smells. Now let's make the noodles. When looking for the proper noodle, I like to find one that's sourced from Vietnam, since where the homeland for pho is. And so I like to use this one, Flying Horse. It's dry. There's dry and fresh ones. I like the dry one because it keeps longer, and I can just use it whenever and tastes just as good.